What's going on, everybody? I'm here to talk to you about a very special candidate for Virginia Attorney General, Jay Jones. Jay Jones. Say hi to everybody, Jay. Great. Now, this man right here, now, if you're a Republican, if you don't share his same political beliefs, he wants your children to die in your arms. You think I'm being dramatic? I'm not. I'm not being dramatic. He will refer to you as a fascist. He will insinuate that you are raising little fascist children and that you deserve for them to die in your arms. He had all this to say back in 2022 about former House Republican Speaker Todd Gilbert. Now that we got all that out of the way, I'm going to go over these texts with you. I want to provide some context. All right. Now, this is from the Virginia Mercury, written October 5th. All right. Jay Jones controversy jolts Virginia pivotal 2025 elections. What began as a quiet October Friday in Virginia politics erupted into a full-blown national scandal when screenshots of private 3-year-old text messages showing Democratic Attorney General Nominee Jay Jones fantasizing about shooting then House Speaker Todd Gilbert and his children were made public. The National Review story revealed an August 2022 exchange between Jones, a former Norfolk delegate, and one-time Assistant Attorney General and Delegate Carrie Coyner, Republican. In the text, Jones described a scenario in which Gilbert, quote, gets 2 bullets to the head, followed by a wish that the Republican lawmaker's children, quote, die in their mother's arms. Let's think about this for a sec. This is an actual person who is running for the Attorney General of Virginia. Okay, not only is he running for Attorney General of Virginia, it is now too late to find another Democratic candidate. This is what they're stuck with. All right, somebody who thinks it's appropriate to wish death upon the children of their political adversaries. That's what we're dealing with here. The messages sent shortly after Gilbert offered public condolences over the death of retired Democratic Delegate Joe Johnson of Washington County stunned political circles across Virginia and beyond. Coyner confirmed the authenticity of the exchange in a statement Friday evening, calling the remarks, quote, disgusting and unbecoming of any public official. Quote, on August 8th, 2022, I had a text conversation with Jay Jones, Coyner said. Quote, what he said was not just disturbing, but disqualifying for anyone who wants to seek public office. Jay Jones wished violence on the children of a colleague and joked about shooting Todd Gilbert. In a statement Friday evening, Jones admitted sending the messages and said he takes, quote, full responsibility for his actions. He apologized directly to Todd Gilbert and his family and vowed to work to regain Virginia's trust. How? How do you regain the trust of the public after that? Republicans seize on the scandal as they fucking should. As they should. Seize on the scandal. The entire fucking nation should be flocking to this scandal right now. It's disgusting. And it's actually an incredible reflection of where political discourse is at. Imagine that. Imagine you went to school for 8 years to become an attorney, and you still are under this insane belief that Republicans are fascists. This just goes to show how higher education these institutions are essentially just liberal indoctrination centers. How do you become an attorney? How can somebody with the cognitive ability to pass the fucking bar test be so unable to critically think enough to understand that Republicans are not fascists? Are you seeing the disconnect? Because it's incredible that there even is one of that magnitude. The revelation instantly reshaped a statewide race that had already been fiercely contested. After initially declining to comment, Attorney General Jason Miyares, the Republican incumbent, condemned his opponent during an impromptu news conference in Richmond Saturday afternoon. Quote, "The Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer of Virginia," Myers said. "It must be done with character and integrity. Jay Jones has proven he is reckless, biased, and willing to trade away his integrity. This conduct is disqualifying." Myers added that he had, quote, "sat with crying victims of violent crime as a prosecutor and called Jones's comments, quote, the kind of darkness that disqualifies anyone from holding public office." Absolutely. Let's think about it like this. Say he wasn't running for an elected position. If he was simply applying to be like, an attorney with the state, like a public defender, and they saw he made those comments, do you think they would hire him? Would any private company hire somebody based on those comments? No, they absolutely wouldn't. So why the fuck is he even still in a position to be an elected official, let alone the Attorney General of the state of Virginia? Make it make sense. It fucking doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Governor Glenn Youngkin echoed that sentiment in a post on X, calling the messages, quote, violent, disgusting rhetoric targeted at an elected official and his children. Quote, Jay Jones said that Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head and then hoped his children would die, Youngkin wrote. There is no, gosh, I'm sorry here. Jones doesn't have the morality or character to drop out of this race. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, now the Republican nominee for governor, went further, attempting to tie the controversy to her Democratic opponent, former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger. Quote, Jay Jones is the poster child for the Democrat establishment, and he fantasizes about murdered little children lying lifeless in their mother's arms, Earl Sears said in a statement. My opponent, Abigail Spanberger, urges her supporters to fill their hearts with violent hate. Let your rage fuel you, she says. Words have meaning. Earl Sears' campaign released a new television ad Sunday morning repeating those claims, even though Spanberger's 2024 rage quote came in the context of urging voter turnout, not violence. I don't really give a shit when somebody's wishing death upon the children of their political opponents. I don't care. The fallout quickly spilled beyond Virginia's borders. On Saturday afternoon, Vice President J.D. Vance weighed in, using the controversy to accuse Democrats of hypocrisy. The Democrat candidate for AG in Virginia has been fantasizing about murdering his political opponents, Vance wrote on X, formerly Twitter. Quote, I'm sure the people hyperventilating about sombrero memes will join me in calling for this very deranged person to drop out of the race. President Donald Trump entered the fray Sunday morning, posting on Truth Social that, quote, the radical left lunatic, Jay Jones, who is running against, quote, the great Attorney General in Virginia, Jason Myers, had made, quote, sick and demented jokes, if they were jokes at all, about, quote, the murdering of a Republican legislator, his wife, and their children. Trump accused Jones of spreading, quote, not funny and deranged remarks, while blasting Spanberger as, quote, weak and ineffective for not condemning Jones more forcefully. Quote, oh yeah, this is a Trump Truth Social post. Even Democrats are saying it is, quote, resignation from campaign territory, Trump wrote, calling on Jones to, quote, drop out of the race immediately. He closed the post by giving his, quote, complete and total endorsement of Myers, his first in Virginia's statewide elections this year, saying, Jason will never let you down. Other Republicans quickly followed suit, with U.S. House Speaker Mike Johnson writing that, quote, there is no conceivable justification for wishing violence against a political opponent and their children, and urging Jones to, quote, immediately withdraw his candidacy. And White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller said the episode showed how, quote, dangerously radicalized the Democrat Party has become. You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It is baffling to me that a man in such a position to possibly be elected to Attorney General is somebody who is actually on record wishing death upon children. Can we all take a moment to recognize how absolutely fucking disgusting that is? People want to call words violence. I disagree. I disagree with that premise entirely. And even these words are not necessarily violence, but they do paint a fucking awful picture of violence in a context that, serves as a fantasy for this guy. He is fantasizing about this shit. That's probably the closest that words can get to violence before just being an incitement of violence. Republican Attorneys General Association Chair Chris Kobach called the text, quote, abhorrent and urged Jones to withdraw. The group also launched a website displaying the messages in full. We're going to have a look at that. U.S. Republican Morgan Griffith, Republican from Salem, said he was, quote, very disturbed by the idea that Jones would, quote, fantasize about Mrs. Gilbert having to watch her children die in her arms. Virginia House Minority Leader Terry Kilgore praised Coyner for, quote, showing real courage by standing up to J. Jones' inappropriate and offensive comments. And John Reed, the Republican nominee for lieutenant governor, who faced his own scandal earlier this year after reports that explicit Tumblr posts tied to an account with his name had surfaced, also joined the chorus. The revelation at the time prompted Youngkin to personally urge Reed to drop out of the race, a request he ultimately rejected. Quote, Democrats have a violence problem. J. Jones just got caught saying it a little too clearly, Reed wrote on X. Quote, killing your opponent and his kids? Disqualifying. And here's the beautiful part. Democrats condemn, but don't call for withdrawal. Democratic leaders across Virginia responded with near universal disgust, but stopped short of demanding Jones end his campaign. U.S. Senator Mark Warner, Democrat from Virginia, called the comments appalling and, quote, inconsistent with the person I've known. Maybe the truth is you just haven't really known this person. What's more likely? You've actually known this guy? Like, you've known this guy inside and out. You know the depths of his soul, only spending probably like a few hours at a time with him over the past decade. Not long enough to know the depth of somebody's soul. This is not your fucking husband. You're not living with the guy. What's more likely? You didn't know him the whole time? Or he just let his character slip for a second when he wished the death upon children? Or he just let his character slip for a second when he wished death upon his political opponent's children? Whoopsie! Whoops! Fuck off. Alright. Spanberger, the Democratic nominee for governor, said she was, quote, disgusted by Jones's remarks and had spoken with him Friday afternoon. Quote, I made clear to Jay that he must take full responsibility for his words, Spanberger said in a statement. I would actually love to hear that conversation that you had with him. I would fucking give anything to hear exactly how that dialogue went down. Quote, as a candidate in the next governor of our Commonwealth, I will always condemn violent language in politics. Yeah, that's what you say in the open. That's what you say in public. What does your rhetoric look like behind closed doors? Listen, Jay, we all may feel that way, all right? But you can't go putting it in writing. State Senator Ghazala Hashmi, shocker that this woman supports him. The Democratic nominee for lieutenant governor said Jones, quote, must take accountability for the pain that his words have caused. Virginia State Senator Majority Leader Scott Surville, a Democrat from Fairfax, was among the most forceful in his response, calling the text, quote, a serious lapse in judgment that cannot be defended. Quote, while we don't share the same political views, I consider Todd Gilbert a friend and an honorable person, Surville said. Quote, the comments directed at him and his family were completely out of bounds. Surville added that the context of the exchange, apparently sparked by condolences after Johnson's passing, made the remarks, quote, even more inappropriate. You're absolutely right. Here's the problem with Democrats. They have such hateful responses to even something like you mourning the death of somebody who stood on the other side of the political aisle, because in their mind, they can't possibly imagine somebody sincerely mourning the death of somebody they disagreed with. Newsflash, you fucking morons. Half the country is capable of that. You guys are constantly pointing your fingers toward others, accusing them of being hatred. The truth is, you're just projecting. Most people don't hate their opponents. Most people are capable of disagreeing with their opponents without wishing death upon them and their children. So, when somebody on the other side of the political aisle passes away from the mortal realm, and somebody offers a glowing tribute, it's probably because they mean it. Because if you don't have anything nice to say, you kind of just don't say anything at all. We were taught that when we were like very young children. But apparently some of you guys don't get that. Alright. After publicly condemning Jones's text, Virginia House Speaker Don Scott from Portsmouth, or a Democrat from Portsmouth, spent Sunday campaigning in Coyner's district. Speaking to parishioners at Mount Calvary Baptist Church in Hopewell, Scott urged voters to keep their attention on the broader stakes of the election. He urged the voters to disregard the fact that this guy, wished death upon his political opponent's children. Think about the big picture, alright? It was just a couple dead kids dying in their mother's arms. Worry about the big picture. Quote, "We have to be mature in our thinking and how we vote," Scott said. "We can't get distracted, because they want us to get distracted by the text message here or something else. Stay focused." Guys, it's just a conspiracy. Guys, it's just a psyop. The Republicans want you to get distracted by the person you're voting for, by the, Democratic Attorney General candidate wishing death upon his political opponent's children. Guys, it's a psyop. They need you to be, it's kind of like the Epstein files, actually. They want you to be distracted. But don't fall for it. Don't worry, it's a psyop. Hey, old fucks, dumb enough to listen to this shit. Guys, this is like the QAnon stuff they were talking about. It's a psyop. They just want you to be distracted. Don't worry. Jones calls text, quote, "a grave mistake." Jones issued what he called his, quote, "deepest apology" to Speaker Gilbert and his family, adding that, quote, "reading back those words made me sick to my stomach. I am embarrassed, ashamed, and sorry." You should be. And honestly, I'm like one step short of encouraging you to go take your own life. I'm one hair short of that. I am one hair short of encouraging you to go throw yourself in a vat of fucking acid. I am one hair away from telling you, Jay Jones, that the world would actually be a better place if you threw yourself in a bed of coals and just laid there for 17 hours straight. I'm one hair short of that. He said he had reached out, quote, "to apologize directly to Gilbert, his wife Jennifer, and their children, and admitted that while he, quote, cannot take back what I said, quote, he could, quote, only take full accountability and offer my sincere apology." Hey, you dipshit asshole, you're only sorry because you got caught. You're only sorry because you got caught. That's the only reason why you're sorry. I'd imagine you still felt that way. Still do feel that way. But it never does feel good getting caught, does it? No, it doesn't. I know that just about as much as anybody else. It feels terrible. He added that Virginians, quote, "deserve honest leaders who admit when they are wrong and own up to their mistakes," calling the text a grave mistake in pledging to, quote, working every day to prove to the people of Virginia that I will fight for them as Attorney General. Mind you, this guy's entire campaign is just ran on, like, we're just gonna push back against all the shit that Trump is doing. That's his entire job, really. Trump tries to do anything? Nope. Like, what are you actually doing aside from just, like, saying no? Appearing live on Richmond's WRIC Friday night, Jones apologized once again. "I'm so deeply, deeply sorry for what I said," he said during the interview. "I wish that it hadn't happened, and I would take it back if I could." Yeah, I bet you fucking would take that back. I bet you fucking would. Monkey's out of the bottle now. Alright? Monkey's out of the bottle now.
Monkey's out of the bottle, man.
What?
Yeah.
That's not even an expression.
Jones' campaign did not respond to additional requests for comment. Some Democratic allies, particularly within Jones' home base of Hampton Roads, stood by him, even as they condemned the text. Whatever this is, state senator? Who the fuck is that? Louis Lucas of Portsmouth and Mame Locke of Hampton released a joint statement describing the comments as, quote, deeply disturbing. See, they always say that shit, that's always the, ugh. But warned against allowing the controversy to overshadow the stakes of the November election. Yep, quote, "There is no place for political violence or violent rhetoric in our public discourse," they wrote. "Jay must take accountability for his actions, but we will not allow this moment to distract from the urgent fight we are in for Virginia's future." Shut the fuck up. These people are so fucking dramatic and so performative at every turn. I know he said that he wanted his, political opponent's children to die in their mother's arms. But let's not forget that, we're fighting Trump. Let's not forget. Guys, if we don't elect this guy who wishes death upon children, our entire state is just going to be raped by the Trump administration. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, really? Is it? The senators credited Jones for his service as a legislator and assistant attorney general, calling him, quote, "a father raising two young boys." Incredible. Incredible. Who, quote, "has demonstrated the character and compassion the office of Attorney General deserves." I want to fucking destroy something. The senators credited Jones for his service as legislator and assistant attorney general, calling him, quote, "a father raising two young boys who, quote, has demonstrated the character and compassion the office of Attorney General deserves," which must be none. Are you fucking serious? In the wake of these texts being revealed that he wished death upon the children of his political opponent, you have the fucking nerve to sit here and say he has demonstrated the character and compassion the office of Attorney General deserves? These people should be fucking laughed out of office. I don't even throw shit. I don't throw shit anyway. That actually just infuriated me right now. That's the statement that you release. It has been revealed, and I'm going to show you the text in a minute, that this man has wished death upon the family of his political opponent. And you're saying that he's demonstrated the character and compassion that the Attorney General office is deserving of? Fuck you. Fuck you. Nobody in this country should trust you to be an elected official. That's the standard you're setting, and I'm supposed to believe that Democrats don't want to kill me. I'm supposed to believe that Democrats don't want all of us dead, when in the wake of these texts being revealed, this is their fucking statement about it? I have some choice words right now. I have some really fucking choice words right now. Bite my fucking tongue. Alright, guys. This is our boy Jay Jones right here. If those guys die before me, I will go to their funerals to piss on their graves. Send them out a wash and something. Jay Jones. 3 people, 2 bullets. Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the room with the 2 worst people you know and he receives both bullets every time. Jay, please stop. LOL. Okay. It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. And then I guess they had a phone call after that, where Jay Jones went on to insinuate that the children of Todd Gilbert should die in his arms. I forget the girl's name, last name Coyner. You weren't simply asking questions and you know it. I genuinely was. I wasn't attacking you, I was trying to understand your logic. You weren't trying to understand, you were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy. Yes. He said yes. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die. This man said yes. In text. In writing. There isn't. I point blank asked you more than 3 times and you dug in that you meant it. I honestly am questioning a lot today. I mean, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes. I wish that we had more of these texts. Now let's go watch his beautiful appearance on Richmond's WRIC. Alright guys, this is the wonderful follow-up interview he did with his local news station regarding the text messages. So, get your popcorn ready, get your spliff rolled. We're about to dive into it, okay?
Okie dokie. So he's recording, so we are
Okie dokie.
ready to go. I guess just, thank you for sitting down and doing this with us. I want to get into those text messages that you sent Carrie Coyner back in 2022. We'll kind of get right into it. One of the text messages mentions 3 people: Todd Gilbert, the former Republican Speaker of the House; Hitler, a man who's responsible for killing 6 million Jews; and then a Cambodian dictator who's also responsible for the death of over 1 million people. You said in that scenario, quote, 2 bullets, Gilbert would get 2 bullets to the head. What were you thinking?
Tyler, thank you for having me and for giving me the opportunity to apologize. And I sincerely and from the bottom of my heart want to express my remorse and my regret for what.
Notice how he doesn't answer the question. What were you thinking? What were you thinking? Simply answer that. Simply riddle me that, cunt.
Happened and what I said. That language has no place in our discourse, and I am so remorseful for what happened. I actually reached out to Speaker Gilbert this afternoon to apologize to him and to Jennifer and to their children, because I know that they are angry and furious, and they are well within all of their bounds to feel that way, because what I said was unacceptable, and I accept responsibility for that. And I want them to know, and I want the people of Virginia to know, that I am so deeply, deeply embarrassed, and that I understand the gravity of what I said, and I am so apologetic for it from the bottom of my heart.
Then answer the fucking question, shithead. What were you thinking when you sent that? Because that's what we all want to know. We want to know what's going inside of your head right now. So explain what you were thinking when you said that 3 years ago. How do you feel about those words now, aside from being apologetic over them? I would never do anything to anyone, but I'm not gonna lie, if I was this Todd Gilbert guy, it would take everything in me not to ask this guy to meet me somewhere private so I could dump him in a lake.
In this election, you're asking Virginians to vote for a man who compared his political opponents to mass murderers. Isn't that type of rhetoric disqualifying for someone who's seeking statewide office here in Virginia?
Well, the rhetoric has no place on our landscape, no place in our discourse, and again, for that, I am deeply, deeply sorry. I should have never done it. It's very...
He's not going to answer the question again. Mind you, both question 1, what were you thinking? Didn't answer that. Question 2, don't you think that language is kind of disqualifying? Doesn't answer that either.
Embarrassing to me, and certainly I regret it. And that's again why I reached out to the speaker and to his wife and to his family to apologize, to express my regret, and to offer my sincerest apologies in this situation. And look, I was held accountable, and I'm being held accountable, and I want to make sure that as we look forward, we elect people who will hold others accountable. That's what's important to me. I understand the gravity of what's happened, and again, certainly feel deep sense of remorse and regret.
The National Review's article, which came out today,
looking at this
says
guy.
after those text messages were sent to Carrie Coyner, you picked up the phone and called her. You said, according to the article, I'm quoting, Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views. Did you say that?
Bottom line is that the language is unacceptable.
Third fucking time he has not answered the fucking question. Did you say that? Bottom line, it's just none of it was accepted. No, just answer the fucking question. Did you say that, Jay Jones? Did you say that part? Did you say that those children should die in their mother's arms? Yes or no? For the people of Virginia that you claim to give a shit about, which in reality, you only give a shit about half of them. You only give a shit about the Democrats. You made that clear.
And again, I deeply, deeply, deeply wish that it hadn't happened.
You deeply, deeply wish that you hadn't been caught, is what you wish for, you piece of shit.
Have spent the entire day really regretting all of it. I certainly wish that it hadn't happened. And
Good. I'm glad you're a human being who's capable of feeling emotions. Glad we got that out of the way. Awesome. Now I hope you feel all of the terrible emotions for the rest of your godforsaken life. Or you know what? Even better, I hope that you pray to God for forgiveness, and I hope that God forgives you for what you've done.
To my stomach when I read those words, and certainly they're objectionable, they're abhorrent, they have no place in Virginia, no place in this country's discourse, and so
One might even argue they are disqualifying. One might argue that.
Deeply sorry and wish that I hadn't done it. But again, I want to make sure that everybody knows that I'm so apologetic, and that's why I reached out to the speaker. And I want the people of Virginia to know that I am sorry, and that is not acceptable, and that they should have a leader in me who's someone who understands when I've made a mistake. And I'm not perfect, and I don't claim to be, and I've erred, but I learn from those things. And that's, I think, an important part of this is that I take it, we grow from it, we learn from it, and we move forward. And I think that's something that we'll do as we head towards this election on November 4th.
A lot of politics is about trust. I can think of nothing more horrific than a mother having to hold her dying child. How can Virginians trust a man who said something so horrific, so callously?
Well, again, I am so deeply, deeply sorry for what I said.
Hey, asshole, saying sorry over and over again isn't going to get you out of this one. You're going to have to actually say something of substance.
I wish that it hadn't happened, and I would take it back if I could. And again, I know that Todd and Jennifer and their family are feeling all sorts of warranted feelings toward me, and that's why I reached out, and I want them to understand.
Yeah, they're feeling like you're a fucking monster who wished death upon them all. They're feeling a way that one feels when a monster removes the veil that is a human face. Alright? That's how they're feeling.
Understand that I wish that I hadn't done it. I wish I hadn't said it. And again, it has no place here in Virginia, and that's something that I'm committed to making sure that going forward it doesn't happen. And frankly, the depths of where I feel, where I am, and what I feel in terms of remorse and regret knows no bounds at this particular moment.
I want to ask you about the timeline. The text to Delegate Coyner, presumably there was some time in between those texts, and when you picked up the phone to make that phone call to her, perhaps some time to think about what you said. It still seems that after you had that time, you still made some insensitive remarks in that phone call. Why did you make those remarks after maybe you had some time to think?
Well, the remarks are, again, objectionable and abhorrent. And again, I sit before the people of Virginia asking for their forgiveness, knowing that what I did was a deeply, deeply insensitive thing and a grave mistake. And that's why I wanted to join you tonight to express that, not just to Speaker Gilbert and to Jennifer and to their family, but to the entire state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia, because again, this language, this rhetoric is not reflective of who we are and where we should be. And it's important to me that we continue to move towards a place where we get this out of the discourse once and for all.
You mentioned you spoke with Speaker Gilbert. What did you say to him?
Well, I offered my sincerest apologies, and I expressed that very deeply. It's someone that I served with, and someone who we worked on bipartisan things together, and I wanted to offer him and Jennifer and their boys my sincerest apologies and my remorse and my regret, because they shouldn't have to be dealing with this right now either.
Winsome Earl-Sears, the Republican nominee.
We gotta stop letting these fucking politicians get away with escaping every single question that they're asked. They do this thing where they begin an answer not answering your question, and then they talk for long enough to where you've simply forgotten that you even asked a question in the first place. All of these answers should be pushed back on aggressively. You didn't answer any of the questions. You didn't answer the question of why, even after all that time, you came back and kind of doubled down on everything. You didn't answer that question. You didn't answer how Virginia is supposed to be able to trust you after this. You didn't answer what was going through your thick fucking head when you sent those messages in the first place. You haven't answered any of these questions. That alone should be a disqualifying factor as a politician. Answer the fucking question.
For governor, put out a tweet saying that Abigail Spanberger, your party's nominee for governor, should call on you to step it down, to get out of this race. Do you have any plans to get out of the race?
We're going to continue to move forward. This race has never been about me. It's always been about the people of Virginia and what they deserve out of their leaders and their attorney general. And in these challenging times...
And this is what they deserve. They deserve this piece of shit, this reflection of hell. They deserve this. This is what they deserve, right? It's not about you. It's not about this J. Jones piece of human shit. It's not about this abomination. It's not about this guy right here. No. It's about the people of Virginia. And apparently, in the opinion of J. Jones, the people of Virginia allegedly suck shit because they deserve this guy right here, this abomination, like I said.
Deserve an attorney general who's going to fight for them, who's going to work for them, who's going to protect them from the excesses, from the overreach, the things that we're seeing out of Washington. And I'll continue to do that because as we've moved across the Commonwealth, you hear so much from families about how costs continue to rise, inflation is running out of control, rural hospitals are closing, our K-12 funding is under threat.
And what the fuck are you going to do about any of that as Attorney General of Virginia?
The list goes on, and I will continue to work to show them and demonstrate to them that I will be the one to protect them from the excesses and overreach of Washington, to work in an affirmative way with this office to make sure we lower costs, protect health care, and make Virginia the best place that we can possibly be.
In the last week, we've learned that you have a conviction for reckless driving. We've learned that these text messages you suggested that Republicans and their children be killed for their political beliefs. Does that show a pattern of behavior on your part that may be disqualifying to be Attorney General?
Well, the words I used were unacceptable, and again, that's something that I deeply regret, and I wish that hadn't happened. But Virginians, I think, want and deserve and expect leaders who will accept when they've made mistakes, when they have erred. And again, I have not ever claimed to be perfect. I don't think any of us are, but I'm before the people of Virginia offering my apology and offering my word that I'm learning and growing from all of this. It's been an embarrassing situation for me, but we continue to move forward because Virginia has an opportunity and Virginia has a choice about whether to continue to let Donald Trump run over us or to fight back and make sure that we're protecting our values and our ideals and our resources. And I know that I'll do that as the next Attorney General.
What's your message to Virginians tonight who are disappointed in you?
I'm disappointed myself. I spent a lot of time today reading what I wrote, and again, it makes me sick to my stomach, but we all make mistakes, and I made a mistake, and I accept that I did that, and I've been held accountable. And I want to make sure that Virginians know that there are leaders out there who will make sure that they are accountable.
He should be destroyed. This man should be destroyed.
And I think as the next Attorney General of Virginia,
not physically,
we will hold folks accountable.
His
to
livelihood, though,
Virginia
monetarily, everything should be taken from
protected,
this man. He should be destroyed.
And I look forward to doing that come January.
Those are the only questions I have. Thank you for sitting down and joining us.
Thank you very much, Tyler. I appreciate you.
Of course.
Fuck you, Jay Jones.
Good.
Well, guys, that was it. That was the beautiful little saga of Jay Jones, the possible future Attorney General of Virginia. I hope you enjoyed meeting that guy. Isn't that somebody you trust to protect your family? Right? That's the winner chicken dinner, Jay Jones. Winner chicken dinner. Can't wait for Jay Jones to win office. God, it amazes me. What a vile human being. But I thought you guys might get a kick out of that, so there you go. That's Jay Jones for you. Alright, stay tuned. Big things coming, and big things coming, brother. Alright, so keep a lookout for that. Keep a lookout for the interview I'm going to be having soon with those women from the UK. What else do we got? What else we got on the agenda, fellas? God, I rip my fucking head off. That's what we have for the agenda. I am going to rip my fucking head off. But yeah, what else? I think that's it for the time being. I think that's it. Alright, so I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Yeah.